When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.
Boom. Hello, one and all, TG family. It's your boy SV Carbaholic, and I'm back on hosting duty. Yes, we are back with your weekly edition of TG Touchline Gunners. And we're here to get into all that good stuff. Firstly and foremost, big up the Patreons. You can join our Patreon from as little as £3 a month. Those post matches are making a return. So get your listens in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We are here, one and all. And we got some stuff to talk about as we return this week. I say that just as we're about to start, Ornstein has dropped a bomber, and it ain't one of them positive bombers, bro. You know when Ornstein comes and you see that little red light flashing and it's injury news, you know, coach, like what now, bro? What now? But we got all that stuff to get into. And with me to talk all that good stuff is my big brother Shabs. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, bro. I'm happy to be getting into this Arsenal chat, man. Yeah, to be fair, I'm recovering from the reaction from last week. Last week was a bit wild, didn't it? And went in about 100 different directions. But I wasn't
on the pod, but I heard it was a very eventful one. So so it's good. So we will see. All right, Shabs, let's go straight into it. Let's start with the Ornstein news then. So he's just dropped that Kai Havertz is set to be out for a spell on the sidelines with a muscular injury. Now, that spell, he says it's problems expected to keep him out of the Brentford game, which is, of course, tomorrow night. The Spurs game, which is 10 days from now, but it's hoped that it's not a serious injury. So, you know, when we talk muscular, we often think of hamstring, maybe potentially thigh. We do know, obviously, last year he missed half the season with hamstring surgery, and then he was having knee issues towards for the latter part of the year. So I guess, you know, if I'm trying to look at it from a glass half full perspective, Shabs, when you do have a big injury, you know, sometimes when you're trying to build up the load, and Arteta's made reference to this quite a few times, you do pick up niggles here and there. I remember Timber was quite similar after he was back from his ACL. So I'm kind of hoping it's not more than, you know, that maybe standard 2-3 weeks and we get him back in, because we know what this run-in is going to look like. And we also know how important Kai Havertz is to Arteta. Probably one of the most key tactical, versatile pieces in the squad. So talk to me. What's your immediate reaction to the news? And we'll talk about what that might look like for the Brentford game, but just talk to me about your immediate thoughts on that injury.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the point I wanted to make. That's exactly the point I wanted to make. Like, sometimes these small injuries are as a result of, like, you know, a return to action, having missed so much football. He's missed a lot of football. And it's not that surprising. It's just dropped. We don't know too much. We don't have the detail of what specifically the injury is, or you know, how long exactly he will be out for. If it's more precautionary, then, you know, that's fine. I can understand it. It's disappointing because I feel like, I've been saying for a minute, Havertz has got a role to play in the running for this title. And I feel that whatever people's frustrations might have been with Havertz, there are some very clear uses that he has for us, you know, and I feel like we were seeing glimpses of that, flashes of that. And in the games where he's cameoed since returning, he's made contributions to them, despite not looking or being fully fit or fully matched up. He's made contributions to them. So you can kind of see a scenario, or I could see a scenario, where he started to find match sharpness, started to find match fitness and proper conditioning, start to find a rhythm, and start to have an impact in contributing to goals, contributing to outputs, deciding games. And he's a fantastic option to have as well. So yeah, it's disappointing. I don't think, if we're assessing the impacts, I don't think it's all that bad if he's missing the Brentford game in isolation. But again, it's another point of the season where another player of importance is out and is injured. There's a wider potential compounding, or not compounding, I'll say cumulative impact of these injuries, really. And if I think about Brentford tomorrow night now, Saka will be out. Ødegaard, I'm not sure. Is Ødegaard fully fit? Is he okay?
We'll find out about that, because I wanted to go into that a bit more. Obviously, Arteta had his pre-match press conference ahead of the Brentford game, and obviously he didn't really give anything away about Ødegaard and Saka. Now we know they're not long term, so there's a potential both could be involved tomorrow night, and maybe they might speed that up. Now we know, you got to factor in Marino's pretty much out for the season now after that stretch fracture injury. Obviously,
Trossard, we don't know.
No, I think from the sounds of it, it sounded like Trossard was just cramp against Sunderland, so I expect him to be available. So it's question marks over Ødegaard and Saka whether they're going to be available tomorrow. But Havertz is a shame, because I think he had had the goal against Kairat, had the winner against Chelsea. He had assist for Gyökeres against Sunderland at the weekend. I think he had another assist for Gyökeres against Kairat. So he's had quite a few goal contributions since he's been back already.
Might have been Leeds, isn't it? It might have been contribution in these games. So it's
annoying.
Sorry, I was just to say, I think we're on the same page, really. But having him out at the same time Marino is out, it puts a lot of emphasis on Declan Rice's availability now, without really adequate cover or really someone to replace him in the event that he can't play. And it takes options out of the front line as well, particularly namely centre forward, which, Gyökeres purple patch aside, we have have struggled with goal outputs up front this season. So it's one that it's not ideal.
So it's unfortunate, it's not ideal, but I guess this is what we have, and we bought a big squad for. There is potential for obviously changing it up, and before we get onto that, let's just quickly dial back and quickly touch on the Sunderland game at the weekend. Obviously, I'm not going to look at the big details of it. Just take a bigger picture, objective look. We won 3-0. It was a good win in the end. Sunderland have caused teams a lot of issues this season. Sunderland goal, Zubamendi goal in the first half and a Gyökeres brace in the second half sealed the victory. Obviously, that put us 9 points clear, and we were all quite excited. And we thought, when Szoboszlai scored in the 75th minute at Anfield the following day, we thought, cool, 9 points clear, it looks like. And City get two late goals to turn it round, bring the gap back to 6. And obviously, they're beating Fulham. So that gap is going to be 3 points as of this evening, going into our game against Brentford tomorrow. So how are you sat kind of 13 games looking at the running, looking at where we are, but factoring in mind sort of these cluster injuries we've just got? How are you feeling overall ahead of the running? Are you still feeling confident? Are you nervous? Bit slightly cautiously optimistic, weary? Just let me know I'm just trying to get a temperature gauge.
My general disposition is confidence. I feel more confident than not that we'll run the line, despite all of the setbacks. I feel more confident. This is the most confidence I've had in the depth of an Arsenal squad in probably forever. And there's so much adversity that we've had to endure this season, and not just this season, last season as well. I know last season didn't pan out the way that we really wanted it to go, but I think there's a lot that we endured last season as well, in terms of the team coming through really difficult moments. I just look at our form across the course of the season and how consistent we've been. And I think the stat I saw the other day was we've played 39 games across all comps this season. We've lost 3 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, 39 games in all comps, 31 wins.
31 wins, 3 losses, and the rest have been draws.
Yeah, 5 draws.
We scored 82 goals across that complement. Now, there's all manner of complaints about how we score, set piece this and set piece that, and we scored 82 goals in 39 games. It's a remarkable return. Its averages over 2 goals per game. And I ran some numbers last week as well in opposition to in opposition to some of the points being made on last week's pod. I ran some points as well in terms of the volume of games that we've played this season where we've had a scoreline of 3 or more goals. And there's 28. There's a further 14 games where we've won by a scoreline of 2 goals, or more as well. So over 28 times we've scored multiple goals this season, and that's been without an optimal attack. That's been with a misfiring and subpar Saka. That's been with a Gyökeres whose first touch and a lot of his clinical instincts are highly questionable. That's been with Noni Madueke, who runs the ball off the pitch more than he finds a man in the final third. And that's been with lots of inconsistencies, both in at left wing and also in terms of like our creator in chief, who's missed large parts of the game of the season as well. So, we've been able to do this stuff in spite of these circumstances. We've also had injuries, significant injuries to lots of other positions all across the pitch. So there's lots of adversity in that regard over the course of the season. I'll just look at the fixture list, and obviously, we have to be perfect, but I think a lot of this is for our own psychological security. I do, and I keep talking about title runs, and it's not often that titles are won in the manner where one team runs away with it. And I think many fans are getting caught up in the fantasy of Arsenal running away with the league, and that just doesn't happen often enough. Like, it's happened. We had the season from Liverpool last season. We had the season where Liverpool ran away with it in the COVID year. We've had a season from City where they've absolutely just run away with it. But we've had it's not typical. It's not the norm. If you look at the line over the years, over the last 10 years, there's not many teams that actually just run away with it, break away, and they just boom, go 9 points clear, 10 points clear. To be 6 points clear is a very, very strong position for us to be in. And when I look at the line, when I look at the fixtures for the remainder of the season, it's they're all winnable games, basically. Whether we will win them all is a different matter, but they are all very winnable games. You know what I mean? There aren't games in that fixture list that I really look at and feel like, nah, I'm not confident about this. And we've got some games that we still need to play at home, given how we started our season and played a lot of difficult games away from home and got some of those results away from home in the early parts of the season. So we do have a lot of teams that need to visit us at the Emirates, and our form at the Emirates is fantastic. We had a blip a couple of weeks ago, but outside, even with that blip, our record at the Emirates over the last 2-3 years has been genuinely fantastic. So yeah, I have every reason to be very confident.
Yeah. No, it's very hard to disagree too much there. I guess going forward then, especially based on what you're saying and looking at some of the injuries we have now, we've picked up now. Obviously, we'll see how close Ødegaard and Saka are to their return, but this potentially opens the door again, especially with Havertz and Marino's injuries, for Eze to come again. Now, Eze played a lot in the first half of the season. And obviously we know about, the mistake at Villa Park, and it did seem to an extent like he was being punished for that. But also generally, maybe he's struggled a bit with, he's spoken about having to absorb a lot of new information coming from Palace to Arsenal, going from such a low defensive line to a high defensive line, playing a lot of low blocks. There's not a lot of big space to run into. And he still put up, I believe, 5 goals and 4 assists. But we can see the talent he can do better. It's not just talent related. It's down to application. So, sometimes in life, Shabs, when you have injuries, opportunities presents itself for somebody else. And Eze's going to get another chance back in now again. So it's really incumbent on him to make himself selectable, to make sure he can stay in the team again once he gets selected. So, talk to me about bigger picture, your overall assessment of his time at Arsenal so far, and now maybe the opportunity that presents itself to him again with these injuries.
Yeah, I think I agree with a lot of what you said. We can't overlook the adjustment. I think a lot of people just assess it as he's moving from one Premier League club to another Premier League club. He should be able to adapt. It should be easy. Adaptation is different for everyone. It's different for every player. There's a level of quality that we expect from Eze because he possesses a level of quality. He's an exceptional football player. But there's a question about usage and utilization as well. And it is very kind of Jack Grealish to Man City-esque, if you think about that. And really, there was an onus and a responsibility in that situation, in those circumstances, for both to get the best out of each other. Pep needed to get the best out of Grealish. He needed to create a system which enabled Grealish to be his best, and Grealish needed to do a bit more at times to adapt to Pep's way. I think is a good comparison. That's what I think is the best way to represent the scenario. I think that there's so much information, and maybe we saw it a little bit with Rice as well, but Rice spoke about this. There's so much information to take in. It's a completely different way and different appreciation of football. It's not just about what you can do with the football. It's probably less about what you can do with the football with Arteta, such as the level of structure and organization that comes with his tactical setup. It's more about what you do when you're out of possession. And that's where I think it's been fair to ask questions about Eze and his efforts, his applications and whatnot. I love Eze as a football player. I was delighted when we signed him. I think he's a quality player, and I never want to be on record talking bad about him at all. He's worked hard to get to the point and the level he's at in his football career. But as a fan, as a purist fan, it's something that I've been a bit disappointed with sometimes in games where he's less involved, he's less touch. And maybe that's because of the game state. Maybe that's because of our structure and the instruction. But maybe it's because of something else as well that we're not aware of or not sure of. I think he's good enough on quality and ability to be in. I also think it's been harsh the way that he's been underutilized during this period of time. But also, Arteta also made a point and said he's played more minutes than he's played in his career to date. So, he's not been used this much, and we want him to last the course of the season as well. So for me, it's like, yeah, one man's misfortune is another man's opportunity, and it's another opportunity for him to, snatch with both hands and take it. And I feel that he has made contributions. He has offered us something different in the final third. He is a bit of a different player. He's unpredictable by nature. And yeah, I think he can do a job for us there. But he's also capable of doing a job on the left. And I think he is capable of being able to play a role in midfield for us as well, deeper, So yeah, I would welcome it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I'm hopeful. I really, and Eze worked so hard to get this move for him. So he's going to do everything he can to make it work. And hopefully, when he next gets a chance, probably against Brentford, I think he'll start this game. Bearing in mind the injuries, obviously, still TBC with Odegaard and Saka. So it's a great chance for him to make a name for himself, make it count again. And make himself a permanent fixture. So yeah, I hope so. He's got that Maverick X Factor ability, but we know that's not enough to get you in the team under Arteta. You've got to be able to work both ways. And I have been noticing that application improve of late. So hopefully he can keep that up, but also improve his ability to be more impactful in games generally and not flitter and flutter in and out too much. So So yeah, it's something to wait and see on that, I guess. Shabs, obviously we've spoken about it. We play Brentford next. With City winning, this is a chance to close to extend the gap back to 6 points. What are you expecting from Brentford? You know, they've probably been the surprise package of the season alongside Keith Andrews. They sit, I believe, in the top 7 of the table, which is really, really good. They have Michael Kayode at right back, right wing back, who has a monstrous throw in. I was at the game in, was it November, early December, where we beat them 2-0 at home, but it was tough work. It was very, very difficult work. We scored an early goal through Marino and we didn't seal it till late on with Saka, but they're very, very tricky, very difficult at a time where most people thought they'd struggle after losing Wissa and Buemo, Norgard and Frank to Spurs. They seem to have just done even better. So, you know, most people, logic will say Arsenal should win and we should win. We're the better team. We have the better players and we're top for a reason. But no doubt tomorrow will be tricky. Have to deal with probably a lot of a big physical game, a lot of second balls, a lot of duels. So talk to me about how you see this game potentially going, where you think you might be won or lost, and what individuals you think will start potentially.
Yeah, I expect it to be tricky. I expect Brentford to be quite stubborn and a bit difficult to break down at home. I think about, was it the Villa game? I think they went down, didn't they, in the Villa game, and still managed the goal.
Yep, they went down to 10 men and won the game 1-0.
Yeah, they went down to 10 men. Sorry, is what I meant. Yeah, and they still managed to win the game, hold Villa off. That was away. Their last game, I think they had a good away result against Newcastle. I think they were losing as well. Well, they came from a goal down, is what I remember. They got a goal, they got a penalty. They've been racking up penalties this season. Yeah, and Thiago has been impressive, but I haven't checked numbers or anything, but from my recollection of how he has scored a fair portion of his goals, a lot of them have come from penalties. So there's something that they are very good at in terms of winning penalties. I think Ouattara, Kevin Shard is a player that I quite like the look of. Kevin Shard is a sensible for me. He's on my sensible transfer list for Arsenal. He's not like your standout name, but in terms of his performances, he's a good player. He's a tidy player. I quite like him. You know, he would, well, signing from Brentford, we won't be able to sign him cheap now, but yeah, he's got some good outputs this season as well. I think he's got a decent future ahead of him. I think he's better than the level of Brentford as well. So they've got like some tricky players and quite a dangerous attack. I've watched more so highlights of Brentford rather than games. So in terms of their actual in-game strategy and their in-game management, I'm not sure what they're like under Andrews, but like, you know, what I do know, again, that front line, tricky, pacey, are capable of hitting us on the counter. So we have to think about our approach to them in terms of like high line. And it's fine because I back our players, and you know, we could go band for band with anyone on the market, anyone in the league. But I'm just talking about where I feel they could cause us problems. In goal, Kelleher, I don't think is that amazing. It was a good understudy for Liverpool, but you know, probably fortunate to be in the setup for Liverpool. He's been all right, but he's not unbreakable. He can be got at. But we just need to be on them, you know. And I think what we need is an early goal, because it will force them to come out and play. And then, you know, I think the game will probably suit us a bit more. But it's a tricky one. It's an awkward fixture away at Brentford. So it's in London. It's not far, but it's at 8 p.m. on a Thursday evening. It's not a conventional game day. So it's a bit of a weird one. Like, you know, I can't imagine many Arsenal fans are going to be out in full force Brentford on the Thursday evening. I think Brentford will have a home advantage that might count. but I think we need to nick it, and I think it will be like a fine margin victory for us, basically. Not expecting like a goal fest.
Yeah, and it's I'm not expecting that. You know, Brentford haven't on the whole. They seem to have been. You know, I've not like you. I can't say I'm an avid, keen watcher of Brentford, but you know the results speak for themselves. Where they are in the table. So yeah, I'm expecting a tough game. I'm expecting it to be quite complex for us. I know that it says they've lost 10 games this season, but they do have 12 wins, which is even more than Liverpool, who they're actually behind in the table. So yeah, and Igor Thiago is only second to Haaland in the scoring charts with 17. How we'd love a forward that's had 17 goals in the Premier League. So yeah, I think it'll be tough. Expecting quite a big physical bruising game. But listen, right now, when there's 13 games left to go, just get me the W. However, I don't care if it's 1-0 or 5-0. The 3 points is the 3 points right now.
Goal, penalty, corner, set piece. I don't
in fact, reload the set piece, bro. 1-0 set piece, lock off the game. I'm happy with that, bro. I'm happy with whatever you'll give me. Obviously, I'd love a 5-0, but we're in that 3 game a day. We've got Wigan at the weekend, and we've got Wolves, and we've got Spurs. So it's constant game, man. So I just want to win, and however we win, I'll be happy with, man. So yeah, I don't know. I guess when we look at the lineup, I would say I'd obviously Raya in goal. I'd expect Timber, Gabriel Saliba, Kala. I think that back five sort of picks itself. Rice and Zubi in front pick themselves. I think he will go Trossard left wing, Eze at 10, Madueke on the right, and Gyökeres through the middle. I think Gyökeres will come back in for Jesus, and away from home, where you know sometimes you can be under pressure. You need the outlet. You know, sometimes with Jesus, I don't think he gives us enough of an outlet. And I think with all the injuries he's had, it looks like his athleticism is quite cooked now. He spends a lot of time coming towards the ball, whereas sometimes, you know, with Havertz and Gyökeres, you've always got that option of just hitting it long and them spinning in behind. So I think that will happen. Obviously, hopefully, with all the injuries now, we might become a bit more bare on the bench. So I'm hoping Ødegaard and Saka are back tomorrow. You know, Shabs, even if they don't start, just to be options potentially off the bench with, you know, Jesus and Martinelli. I feel confident if those were around. Do you agree with the team?
Say the front three again.
Gyökeres up top, Eze in behind, and then Trossard and Madueke on the wings. So that's what I think. And also, I say that because I can't deal with Martinelli, Gyökeres, and Madueke all starting at once. There's too much turnover there, bro. It's very Haram. Yeah. That front three is Haram, and it's too much. It's too much. Yeah, I need some technical security in the front three. So Trossard and Eze can balance out Madueke and Gyökeres. So yeah, that's kind of what I would go for. And then, you know, you've got Jesus and hopefully Ødegaard and Saka off the bench as well. So let's see. Let's kind of see what happens. But yeah, I'm a predict. I'll go 2-0. And I'll be very happy with it. 2-0 is like one of my favorite scorelines, you know, just comfy. 2-0, wrap it up, not much drama. You know, I think we limited, Sunderland to like 0.15 at the weekend. So I feel like, and I've said this before, defense is our superpower. If we don't give anything away, we will score at least one, and there's a good chance we'll walk away with the win. So that's kind of where I'm at with it, Shabs. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think there is something about Trossard and Gyökeres striking up a good partnership. Gyökeres is in good form. Let's see. Let's continue to monitor and watch this space, but I can't argue with the run of goals that he's had in recent games as well. At this point, he just needs to stat pad. If he stat pads his way through now to the end of the season, we can never forget, but we can forgive some of the crimes of the first 6 months of the season, basically.
Yeah, but, he is up to 13 in all comps now. Yeah. He has got 6 goals in this calendar year, which is the most of any strike. Actually, I don't know if it's the most. I'd have to check now after Haaland. this evening. But yeah, he was the most previously. So he does, I've been begging for him to hit a purple patch. Maybe this is his current purple patch. So listen, my guy, sustain it for as long as possible, please. Please, I beg you.
He needs to keep going.
Yeah.
He needs to keep going.
Keep going. Okay. Before we wrap up then, let's hit some listeners' questions. We'll start with King Keshi 13, big him up. He says, evening lads, Budapest, May, Champions League final. 3 moments. I need your answers to each 3. Okay. First one, last minute 1v1. Who do you want in on goal and why?
Havertz.
Okay.
He's been there before. In the Champions League final, he's been there. He's done it.
Okay.
And after, listen, people are gonna play Rima. Is it a crime to me? They're gonna play this to me, but like, let's think with our logical heads rather than our emotional hearts. Yeah. For me, I think it's Havertz. Gyökeres, we've seen it too many times. Jesus, I think he can chop the keeper.
No, I'm sorry.
But then
Jesus will be close to the bottom of my list in the Champions League final, bro.
Yeah,
I love him, but I don't want that ball falling to him, bro. I don't want
he can chop the keeper, but then he won't see it through.
Yeah. I do not trust him to see it through. I don't trust him to see
Saka,
it through.
we don't know how the rest of the season is gonna play out yet.
I'll be real. Saka's not had his shooting boots on this season, my guy. So
yeah,
when you come back, in fact, you need to load it, bro. My boy, I love you, but start putting up some numbers, bro. Because if we're gonna achieve what we're gonna need to achieve, we're gonna need you to go Super Saiyan for us. So yeah, Havertz, I can deal with. Gyökeres maybe. Yeah, do you know who actually I would?
Gyökeres, man, can't be him.
Actually, do you know who I would put? Because not that he might get a chance, but like, bearing in mind he scored 6 goals for us this season. Zubimendi looks quite assured in front of goal. Actually, you know who I would have said, Shabs, if he was fit, even though I'm not even a big fan of him, who's quite clutch. He might even be the most clutch player in Marino. I guarantee if Marino was from goal, I'd actually trust him to score.
He's scoring, isn't it?
He's scoring. He's 100%. His finishing ability is clean.
Listen, it can't be Vinland Saga. It can't be. It can't be. I don't know if you know about that manga, that anime with
I do.
the Vikings. It can't be Vinland Saga. It can't be. I'm sorry. I'm not having it, man. He'll get caught. The centre back will catch him.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. All right, number 2 then. 1 killer pass to put someone through. Who do you want playing it and why? Hey, Marino's got a decent final ball as well, you know.
Look what we're doing here. Marino won't be there.
He won't be there.
I want to say Erdegaard, but my common sense won't let me. It won't allow me.
If he starts playing like a serious individual, I can put him there. Because theoretically, it should be him. But his final ball can be so inconsistent. It's funny enough, when he's on the left-hand side, his final ball tends to be better than when he drifts to the right-hand side. So yeah, if Erdegaard's on the left-hand side, I would trust him to execute. But if he's on the right-hand side,
forget about it.
Yeah, he might be having some conversations. Okay. And number 3, corner cleared, counter on, 1 defender left. Who's your last man and why? Oh, Saliba.
No. I'm gonna say Gab. You say Saliba. I'm gonna say Gab.
I'm gonna say Saliba.
Saliba is cold. Listen. It could be. To be fair,
1v1. You're left 1v1 against the 1v1 against Mbappe. I'm choosing Saliba, bro. I'm sorry, Saliba.
What was Mbappe the question, or was it
wasn't
just
the question? But I'm just giving you an example.
Mbappe. Okay, Mbappe. Mbappe, I'm gonna say Saliba, but anyone else, I think I'm picking Gab. You know, that don't even make sense. That's not even rational. How could I'm practically saying Saliba against the best centre forward in world football? Yeah, Saliba, go on.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you for those questions. Interesting. Morpheus Z says, do you guys really believe in this Man City team, or are people just hypnotized by their hate for Arsenal? Personally, I'm not buying anything they are selling. Now, obviously, it's a tough question, right? Because City are City. They have won like 4 or 5 out of the last 6 league titles. They have arguably the greatest manager of all time. They are serial winners. So I would never, I would never be in the camp of anybody who writes them off, because City have shown time and time again they know how to deliver when it counts. However, they have bought a lot recently. A lot of their title winners aren't there anymore. This isn't actually the same team that they've had in a lot of those. Obviously, Rodri, Bernardo, Foden, Haaland are there. Diaz you could include as well. But there's a lot of new guys, fullbacks new, a lot of new wingers. So a lot of these guys haven't won. And it's also borne out by the fact City have already lost 5 games this season. They've drawn 5 games. They've dropped points in 10 games. 10 out of their 26 games, Shabs, they've dropped points in this season. And they haven't looked particularly convincing to me in a lot of them, even in some of their wins. Like even their comeback against Liverpool at Anfield. I was surprised, actually. I didn't see that coming. I kind of felt like that came from nowhere because they were getting peppered by Liverpool in that second half. But fair play to them. It's Pep. You can never write them off. They've shown they know how to get over the line numerous times. Rodri's back, and they do have winners, and they have Haaland. So I understand it. I get it. But I feel like we've been there enough times now to know what's needed and what's to be expected of us. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I still expect us to get over the line when all is said and done. So it's kind of a roundabout way of saying City should be there or thereabouts, but I still back us in crunch time to deliver, and we should win.
Yeah, I feel similar. There's chinks in the armor of this City side, and I've seen them get got at, and we've seen them get got at many times last season, where they were just off the boil in the league, and we saw them get got at really from the start of this season as well. And they've been poor by their own incredibly high standards. They've been poor, and whatever justification, because some people will throw like a justification for it and say, yeah, but for me, they can't spend the money that they spend. Yeah, they can't spend the money that they spend, and we make lies and excuses for them. Like they've overhauled their squad between last January and this January, and spent like close to £1 billion in the process in 3 windows. Come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like Marmoush, Nico Gonzalez, Kusanov, Victor Rios, and then in the summer they had a mega summer. January they just dropped like 65 M's on Semenyo. They've gone and signed Guehi, who's he's got financially, like he's out of contract in the summer. They could have waited 6 months. But the level of desperation and how dire their defense is, they had to go out and sign him. I think he's an improvement on all of their centre backs probably, and will be okay over the course of time. But I'm looking at Tijani Reinders, who I really rate. I really rated him. I thought he looked very good at Milan. I liked him at Milan. He's a player that I've said that we should have signed time ago. He's looking off the boil big time. You know what I mean? Rodri, for me, just doesn't look like the same player. And how can he when he spent such a long time out with such a serious injury? Nico Gonzalez, I think people were harsh on because he didn't look like, people were judging him by the standards of Rodri, and he's not the level of Rodri, but he's still a very good player. I think no one gave him the benefit of the doubt, and no one considered him in the context of City actually being a worse off team. But he actually is a decent player. He doesn't have the engine that you'd need. And I think that's what it is. Pep has built this side with midfielders who are not industrious. So they've got the tech, but they can get got at, they can get outran. And so they still leave a bit to be desired for me. And then like some of the players that they've got in the attacking line are really like magic players, moments players. But over the course of a game, they probably won't offer you loads as well. So again, I think Semenyo is a consistent threat in that regard and brings a bit of difference. I think Doku, with his high dribble volume, can be problematic in games, but Doku also has had too many times where he's just not been good enough. And then Haaland, is having a down season by his own incredibly high standards as well. So they can be got at, but saying that they still have the know-how, they still have the know-how. You can still never put it past them. But I think it's more psychology. I think the psychology and trauma of Arsenal fans is what it is. And also, there's something I want to just clarify as well, because people keep talking about Arsenal being bottle jobs, and there's this narrative in the mainstream media that Arsenal continue to let it slip as the season gets on. And I think last season that's not true, because we weren't in the running. So we had a poor season. We didn't let anything slip. We weren't in contention, and probably weren't in contention as of like November, December. The season before, we were in the running and we were incredibly consistent. And all it is that City literally we had like a run of like 19 games where we won 18, we won 17, drew 1, lost 1. And City in the same run of 19 games won 18, drew 1, lost none. So, and the draw was against like us. You see what I'm saying? So it's very harsh to say, like Arsenal slipped and blah, 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 when actually it was a freak result is what it comes down to, because otherwise, we matched or bettered City's output, which was unbelievable. And forget most seasons, in most 19-game runs, the majority of fans in isolation will say that's a fantastic run. So I don't agree with the narrative as well that keeps popping up that, Arsenal have let it slip when they've been in the title run. It's only really that season was in the title running. It wasn't a bottle job. It was an unfortunate set of circumstances. I don't agree that it was a bottle job, but I think the psychology gets the better of a lot of fans, and we start buying into this negative rhetoric and start to kind of believe what the wider media hype and media consensus is. And the mainstream footballing media is made up of Man United and Liverpool pagans. Yeah, and we can't start letting them trick us fans out of our position. Support the club, man, and have faith and confidence, and let us do our job. Like, get behind the team and just let them do their job.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's just finish with two more questions, and they'll both be from Conway TV. Big him up. It says, big up the man, them lads. Would you take an earlier exit out of the Champions League if it meant we would win a domestic treble? Shabs, what are you saying? Yes, is my answer, by the way.
Earlier exit out of the... No, because what's the outcome?
He said a domestic treble, bro. You secure free
domestic treble, but what if we stay in? What is the outcome? If we stayed in, the outcome could be a quadruple.
Shabs, please. Let's apply some sense here, bro. I'm telling you, he's offering you now 3 trophies that you are guaranteed by the end of the season. Listen, don't get me wrong.
Champions League.
We've never won the Champions League, and I would love to win it. However, in a season where you could tell me Arsenal are going to win the League, FA Cup, and League Cup, would you take it right now? The season's finished. Yes, I'm taking it.
Right now for this season.
Now.
Yes,
I am taking it.
I would take it.
Only
because you put pressure on me and made me like I'm bugging.
Okay.
You've made me out to be like I'm bugging for wanting the Champions League. But I've seen it. Listen, I'm getting on in life, I've been around. I've seen it all. I've seen Arsenal win everything apart from the Champions League. I need to see it. I need it. I want it. We need it. We want it. We need it.
We want you. Yeah,
We want it.
Listen, I hear you. But right now, I ain't seen that league title in 22 years, bro. So you're even giving me that plus 2 accessories on the side, bro. So you're giving me the LV with some Balenciagas and some Dior's on the side, bro. Listen. I'm not a greedy man, bro. I'm a hold that and be delighted. Next season we can go again. Do you get? But for now,
all right. Let me ask you this. Yeah. Would you accept the same scenario? Would you go out early for 2 cups, 2 trophies?
That one's a bit. Actually, wait. What are the 2 trophies?
You see? No, wait, this is I get that, but would you go out? Answer the question first, then I'll tell you.
No. The trophies matter, because if you tell me it's like
in the League Cup, would you go out of the Champions League early for the EFL Cup win and the FA Cup?
No, 100% no. Yeah, the league needs to be attached.
Right, well, let me ask you this. Riddle me this. Yeah. Would you go out of the Champions League early if it were just one trophy winning the league? Guaranteed. Like today, you go out of the Champions League at the first leg of the next game that we play blams us to the point where we're just like the second leg is a non-entity, but we are guaranteed to win the league. Would you accept that scenario?
Hey, I would, even though I don't like it, because I feel like we've done so much to then like have just that. But don't get me wrong. Listen, when you asked me what I wanted, Shabs, at the start of the season, I wanted the league above anything. So I will still be happy with that. I would be a little bit disappointed that we didn't leave with anything else and we went out of the Champions League early. But I get to add number 14, bro, and I'm gonna still be drunk at the parade, bro. So yes, I will enjoy. I will listen. I will stop off at Holloway Road for some suya, and I will sip my Henny. I might be a little bit disappointed, but I'm gonna still do that, bro.
Yes, be there. So yeah, no, I was gonna make a point, but it don't even matter. It don't even matter.
So to your points, yes. To answer the question, yes, I would if it meant a domestic treble. Yes, I would if it meant a domestic double, but that domestic double has to include the league. The league is paramount. I'm not taking anything that doesn't include the league.
That doesn't include the league. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Yeah, Arsenal are better equipped and better suited to winning the Champions League as a competition this season than they are the league, the Premier League. Maybe not currently, actually, given the points gap. However, entering into this season, the way that we have performed in the Champions League, the way that teams have played us in the Champions League, the quality of the Champions League overall, the setup, the new format, and that, I think we are better equipped to win big in Europe.
I agree. And I think Arteta's very pragmatic in Europe, and that suits. He can go away from home and spoil a game and try and bank on getting the W at home. And it has suited, because in his 2 seasons in the Champions League so far, he's reached a quarterfinal and he's reached a semi-final. So we are very much suited under the way Arteta does things to perform well in Europe. So I would not fully disagree with you there. I will disagree, however, on where we are in the league right now with 13 games left. We are perfectly equipped to win this thing, and I'll be very disappointed if we don't. So yeah, that's kind of my question there. Okay, cool. Let's just end on this one from Conway. Final one. He says, second question for the Mandem. Who do you think has been our most consistent attacker in 2026 and why? Well, obviously, we're only 6 weeks into 2026. So if I'm going most consistent based on numbers of goals, you could say Gyökeres. I would have said Trossard if we were still in 2025 at the season started, but I think he's probably tailed off in a couple months. I think Havertz had come back in good shape, in good nick. So it's a shame he had got injured. So I probably would have said, between Gyökeres and Havertz for me. So, but yeah.
It's hard to argue and deny Gyökeres based on this form.
Yeah. You know? Also, sorry, this is an endorsement of Gyökeres. I am firmly still in the other side. However, I believe in being objective. And whilst he doesn't contribute on the ball as much as I'd like, he's doing what else he has to do, which is put the ball in the net. So I can, as long as he continues doing that, I can stomach it. So yeah, okay, cool. No worries, Shabs. I think we can leave it there. Been going for almost an hour. So listeners, thank you very much. We should probably be back with a post-match after the Brentford game. We do also have Wigan at the weekend as well, so might do a post-match for that as well. So yeah, patrons, be on the lookout. We're back. We're all back. Hope you've enjoyed. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Shabs, thank you very much for joining me. Listeners, we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Always. Bless.
Yo, when I spit bars in the rain, man, I go hard like Santan.